taxes. I know you guys looked at the agenda and you said, Tom's going to talk about taxes today. This is going to be fascinating. And the truth is, taxes inspire me to be a bit loquacious. There's a lot of things that I could talk about taxes. I don't know if 7 minutes is going to be enough. I might need the buffer, Tatiana. But I'm going to talk to you today about our current tax code, why I think it needs to change. I'll talk to you about what I think is a good alternative and the benefits to that approach. And we're going to start with some word association. So I'm going to say something. I want whoever wants to say something. You can all just shout out of me your first impression, the first thing that comes to mind when I say taxes.
Yeah.
I heard IRS.
Extension.
Refund?
Refund, so not all bad, but I mean, most people, when you talk about taxes, it gives you that, it's like coming up on mid-April, you just get this pit in your side, I gotta get it done. Maybe you do it yourself, maybe somebody does it for you, but it's never really a pleasurable experience. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to tell you the 3 things I think are wrong with our tax code. It's too complex, too hard to comply with, and it costs a lot of money. Complexity. Why is it so bad to have a really complex tax code? Tom, the world is complex. We need a complex tax code to go with it. I agree, but not totally. So the reason I don't like complexity in our tax code is because when you think about what all those complexities are there for, it's special interest, it's lobbies, it's people that want to manipulate for the purpose of their specific gain at the cost of other people that are paying taxes. I think there's a way to get around that. Compliance. How hard is it to do your taxes? Some people can do the 1040 easy, right? You can just pencil it out over an afternoon. Some people have a more complex situation. You might have rental property, you might have investments that you need to take care of. It gets cumbersome. When you talk about compliance, if you were to have a problem with your taxes, the burden of proof on that isn't on the government to prove that you screwed something up. The burden of proof is on you to prove to them that you didn't. It's not like if you got charged with murder, somebody says, Tom, we're charging you with murder, and I say, I didn't do it. And you go, well, I guess we're going to have to prove it now, right? We go to court, and they have to prove that you did it. It's not the same way with taxes. The IRS has a lot of power. And the last thing I'll talk about is cost. $205 billion was the federal deficit in 2014, just for that 1 year, not the total deficit. $235 billion is what it costs people to pay their taxes. And that's not how much you pay in taxes, it's how much it actually costs you to comply, the lawyers, the preparation, the things that go into planning out your business structure so that you can comply with taxes. It costs a lot of money, $235 billion. So that's why I think that our tax code could use a little bit of a revamping. And when I explain to you what I mean by revamping, I think you'll understand that's an understatement. The plan that I've come across that I find is most beneficial and is simplest, as Arnie in his introduction said, that I like things that are simple and fair, is called the fair tax. Has anybody heard of the fair tax? Nobody's heard of the fair tax? The fair tax takes all the taxes that you know of, income taxes, corporate taxes, payroll taxes, estate taxes, every tax that's on the books, crumbles them up, throws them in the trash can, repeals the 16th Amendment of the Constitution, which allows for an income tax, and replaces that with a 23%, and hold your breath, a 23% consumption tax. So every good and service that you buy new, you would pay 23%. And I know what most people think, 23%, you're going to tack 23% onto the top of everything I buy. Let's take a look at what's incorporated into the cost of the things that you buy now. Who thinks that corporations actually pay taxes? So Dale's got his hand up there. Thanks, Dale. Corporations collect taxes, and then they give that money to the government. But they're not going to take it out of high. They're not going to sell their product and come back to you with, we made $200,000, we'll pay taxes on that. They're not going to sell the product at a lower cost and pay the taxes out of their profit, they're gonna sell their product at the higher cost, keep the same amount of profit, and send it to the government. So you are paying all their taxes too. The fair tax replaces all that. So what you're gonna see when you enact the fair tax is you're not gonna see taxes come out of your paycheck when you receive it, so your paycheck's gonna be greater. The corporations are not gonna be worried about paying taxes because they don't have to anymore. You're also gonna see the cost of the goods that you buy, potentially, the cost of your goods could go down because all these embedded taxes aren't going to be in the price anymore. You might also see your wages go up because the corporation may decide to lower their prices of their goods, or they may decide to pay their people more because they can afford to do it now. The other thing about the fair tax that I should mention is that people think about the lowest income earners, and they say, well, this is gonna unfairly affect the poorest citizens, the ones, if you have to pay 23% of your hard-earned money for the goods that everyone needs to survive, well, that doesn't sound very fair at all. And they took that into consideration when they designed the fair tax. The fair tax includes a prebate, so you get paid every month up to the poverty level for what you would be expected to spend to maintain a standard of living with the poverty level. You get that money up front, and so as you spend your money up to the poverty level, you are not paying any additional taxes on that first part. So it scales with how much you're willing to spend. So you, in essence, are now in control of how much money you pay to the government, by how many things you decide to buy and what services you want to use. It changes the control of our tax structure from Congress, who develops a tax code, and the IRS, who enforces the tax code. Brings it all back to you. You get to decide how much taxes you pay. If you want to buy a boat, pay the taxes. Now the thing about this is that this fair tax, it might sound like it's too good to be true. Many economists have studied the fair tax, and they've decided that it's revenue neutral compared to our current tax code. And they've also decided that they think that our economy will expand as you see taxes being levied on immigrants, undocumented immigrants, underground labor, people that are already earning an income but aren't paying taxes. And for those reasons, that's why I believe that fair tax is the best solution to our current tax problem in the United States. Thank you.